the power of RFID technology. Imagine entering a store, selecting some items, and paying for everything in one fast step. That's the power of RFID, radio frequency identification. It uses a small chip placed on products to improve shopping experience. This chip sends information to computers through radio waves, finding items quickly. Unlike barcodes, which need to be scanned up close, RFID chips can be read without being visible. They can send data of items from a distance, all at once. This makes checking out faster for everyone. In addition, RFID helps cut down on mistakes at checkout because it takes away the need for scanning by hand. People might miss scanning an item or scan the same item twice by accident. RFID also tracks what people buy and when, helping businesses know which products are popular. What's more, it tracks the location of items, allowing stores to keep an eye on stock without counting each product by hand. It makes sure stores can quickly add more popular items to shelves.
Today's warm-up quiz is: it's hard to travel abroad without blank, a passport these days. A. Having. B. Had. C. Have. D. Has.
You have 15 seconds to think about it. Time's up.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to English for You. I am Mike.
I'm Nikki.
And today, Nikki, it's time to learn about some new technology that could be changing many, many things around the world, and especially a lot of the things that we do almost every day. So if we're learning about new technology, we're learning about new machines that are going to be coming along, machines, devices, things that are going to make our lives easier. Well, that's the idea. And of course, the other thing with technology is when we learn about some new stuff, we often have to learn a new bunch of letters. And that's the case here with this too. The power of RFID technology.
It's radio frequency identification.
Thank you very much. You're a very important person to have because you know that. So I think I've also heard people say this RFID. RFID technology.
RFID, yeah.
RFID, which as you said is radio frequency identification. The article says, imagine entering a store, selecting some items, and paying for everything in one fast step. Okay, well, that kind of sounds like I'm shopping because, I'm entering a store. I select or choose some items. I pick out some things to buy, and then I pay for everything, but maybe not in one fast step. You might have to wait in line, and then the cashier has to count everything and add up the total. And so, yeah, it's definitely more than one step, and sometimes it's not even fast. So that's what we're imagining doing, kind of pretend to do this. Think about another time that you've done this, and notice that this is a little different. We're paying for everything in one fast step. I guess it does all the math and takes the money out of your bank really, really quickly. How will we do this? Well, it says that's the power of RFID, radio frequency identification. So that's the kind of thing this technology should be able to let us do not too far in the future, hopefully. But it is something that does not quite exist this way. That's why we are asked to imagine something. When you imagine something, you could be thinking of something that doesn't exist, like a writer or a movie maker or a songwriter will imagine a new story or a new film or a new song because they're kind of using their creativity to do something, to create something that has never been made before. But here we're not really doing it in that way. When you say imagine and then you kind of give someone a situation, you're saying basically pretend you're in this, think about this. What would you do? How would you feel? Have you ever experienced something like this? And it's kind of like an idle wish. You're just kind of sitting there staring out the window going, imagine what it would be like to live on the moon or something like that, right? There's no real answer that you're looking for here. It's just kind of an interesting game to play with your brain, to think about things, maybe come up with some answers, but you're not really, you don't really have to come up with the best idea ever. We're just asking you to think about it. For example, imagine if you could run as fast as a cheetah. Imagine if that's the speed that you could move on your own two legs. Wouldn't that be interesting?
那今天课文要介绍一样新科技，叫做无线射频辨识识别。那是在我们去商店买东西的时候会遇到的酷东西。Imagine 这个动词指的是想象或者是设想 So you picture something in your head. And most of the time we'll say imagine doing something 后面要加个 VING. So when you imagine something, you use your imagination. Imagination 这个名词就是它的想象力。那刚刚提到的 radio frequency 呢，这个东西 identification, RFID 就是无线射频识别。
All right, so how does RFID work? It says it uses a small chip placed on products to improve shopping experience. So they would actually put a small chip, a little microchip, on each product, and that would help to improve your shopping experience. These days, of course, we have barcodes or QR codes, but those are just designs and patterns printed on the product. In this case, we would actually have a little computer chip in each one. It says this chip sends information to computers through radio waves, finding items quickly. So in the same way that a chip or chips in your phone allow your phone to know where it is in the world and things like that, we would do the same kind of thing with different products. And yes, that would help us find items quickly. I guess you could even, use it on your phone. If you're looking for the orange soda, you could just put orange soda on your phone and it would kind of show you where it is in the store and maybe even how many they have. So that would kind of be very convenient and give us a lot more information to use when shopping. All thanks to these wonderful little chips. When we say chip, we're not talking about a thing that you eat, a small piece of fried potato that is crunchy and delicious, although that is a chip. No, this chip is also, to give it the full name, a microchip. It is something that is made for computers, and of course we think of these as kind of the brains of computers. So a chip is a very small piece of material, often made of silicon, which is a kind of sand that can be easily sort of carved into and cut into. It is a semiconductor, and it is used to carry complicated electronic circuits and to allow computers to do many, many calculations very, very quickly. And it also handles the heat that can be created by those calculations. We have chips in everything, as you know. Here's one example. A modern car often has between 1,000 and 3,000 chips in it. Each car on the road. That's incredible.
那其实这个 RFID 就是一个透过无线电波传递讯息的小晶片。Chip 这边这个名词当然是晶片 ，a tiny piece of silicon that is used to process information in computers. So for example, 在台湾我们有台积电 TSMC Taiwan Semiconductor. 那另外我们平常会看到的是薯片、洋芋片 pieces of fried potatoes, a bag of chips.
Now, unlike barcodes, it says unlike barcodes, which need to be scanned up close, RFID chips can be read without being visible. Okay, so there's another bit of an advantage for these RFID chips. You don't need to see them in order to use them. You know, barcodes, right, those black and white lines that we find on almost any product we buy in the store. Yeah, well, when you take them up to buy or to pay for them, to actually buy them, they have to scan them, right? They have that little machine. It's got often a red laser that kind of shoots out the front of it, and they pass that over the barcode, and then you hear a beep, and that means the barcode has been scanned, it's been read, and the data is now in the cash register or the computer. But you need to see it, and you need to be up close to it. RFID chips send out a signal, and so they can be read, they can be detected, they can be picked up without any time. They don't have to be visible. If something is visible, you can see it. Okay, if I put the writing on the bottom of a cup and I put the cup on the shelf, the writing on the bottom is not visible because you can't see through the cup. If someone has a shirt on, you can't read the label on their shirt because it's, against their back and it's not visible. It's not something that you can see. Here's an example. A rainbow became visible after the rainstorm ended, right? We could finally see the rainbow after the storm had passed.
那这边课文做了一个比较，把 RFID 跟 barcode 这个名词条码做比较。那它们之间的差异呢，就是条码必须要很靠近它才能够扫它，但是 RFID 不一定要看到它才能使用。Visible 这个形容词指的是看得见的或者是可见的 ，so you can see it, it can be seen。那相反的 invisible 就是看不见的。那另外 scan 这个动词是扫描 ，up close 近距离的扫描它。And here we have today's grammar, and let's take a look. 那今天的 language and focus 要讲到是 without 加上 VING 或者是一个名词。那 without 是介系词，它有没有、不或者是无的意思，用来表示否定。 所以 without 加 VING 或者是名词当做副词片语时，会用来修饰前面的动词。所以课文这边说 RFID chips can be read without being visible， 所以是用来形容前面的这个看得到可不可以被读取这件事情是看不到的。另外一个我们可以看到 They left hotel without their luggage by accident。那这边的修饰动词 left 表示离开时他们没有带行李，所以 without their luggage 当作是副词片语。那另外 without 加名词当作形容词片语的时候，也可以用来修饰前面的名词，像是 We had to walk through a village without electricity。 Walk through a village 用来形容前面没有，后面这边没有电力。那这边看到今天的 warm-up quiz It's hard to travel abroad without blank a passport these days。 那刚刚有提到 without 后面要加名词或者是 VING， 所以我们只能选 A haven't。
All right, back to our article. So that's RFID chips, they can send data of items from a distance all at once. As we said, you don't need to have them be visible, you don't need to scan them, you can just pick up the signal from the chip from a distance and all at once. This makes checking out faster for everyone. So yeah, I guess you could put all of your items on a special place and all the RFID chips and the signals would be picked up at the same time and beep, 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 all those things you're buying, it will all be there. You don't have to scan one and then scan the next one and then find the barcode and scan the third one. You do it all very, very quickly all at once. And this collects data much more efficiently and quickly. Data is just information. Useful information that we need to do things or to know things. If you're going to take a flight, if you're going to fly on an airplane, you'll need some data to know when the plane is leaving, what flight number it is, the time it's leaving from, what airport it's leaving from. That is all data or information. Scientists collect data. People who want to know about the world will collect data. Your car or your motorcycle or any machine that you're often using will give you data, the temperature, the speed, how much gas you have in your scooter. All of that stuff is data. It's information, and it comes in all shapes and sizes. We study it, we learn it, we remember it, we use it, and it hopefully will help us make better decisions because we know more stuff. And how do we know that stuff? We collected the data. For example, the geologists had to put themselves in danger to collect data about the volcano. Oh yeah, volcano data is often very dangerous to collect.
那 data 这个名词指的是资料或者是数据， so it's basically information. 那它可以是复数，也可以是单数。So if you want to conduct a research, 如果你想要做一个研究 you might need to collect your data. 就是说你要收数据啊，收资料 and then analyze your data. 就是你要分析你的数据资料 or process your data. 那另外 from a distance 这边讲的是从远处，从远远的地方 all at once 全部一起 so together at the same time.
Okay, so it makes shopping more efficient and easier. In addition, RFID helps cut down on mistakes at checkout because it takes away the need for scanning by hand. Well, that's a good point. I guess occasionally items don't get scanned. I know sometimes they can't actually use the scanner on the barcode, right? It's like bent or folded or something.
Or with water.
It's got water on it, so they got to slow down and type it in by number and all that stuff. So it's less efficient. RFID would take care of all of that stuff. They would avoid mistakes, and it would all be done very quickly. So you could get in and out of the supermarket even faster. And it says people might miss scanning an item or scan the same item twice by accident. Yeah, that's with the old barcodes and QR codes. You might miss scanning an item because the cashier is just not paying attention. Or maybe they scan the item twice, so the customer gets charged more. And of course, the customer won't like that, so that'll cause a problem. And it'll slow stuff down at checkout. And checkout is that place that you go in a supermarket. We could also use this term in a hotel maybe. But to check out or checkout is the place that you go when you're ready to leave. You're ready to pay for your goods in a store, in a grocery store, in a supermarket. So you have your basket, you push it up to checkout. They count all the things you have, add up all the money, you give them the money, you put your stuff in a bag, and then you leave. So that would be the final stage in going to a supermarket.
那 checkout 这个名词指的是结账的柜台。那另外，如果我们比如说要去饭店退房 leave a hotel after paying and giving back your room keys, that can also be a checkout. Also, when you borrow books from the library, you check out some books. 你就是借一些书。那 cut down on something 指的是减少一个东西。
Okay, so it sounds like RFID technology could be very convenient for us, the shoppers, the consumers. It could also be useful for workers in the store to help them do their work faster and make fewer mistakes. And what about the companies, the whole chain, the whole network of stores, the company that owns that grocery store and many others that you go to, well, yeah, they would definitely benefit too. It says RFID also tracks what people buy and when, helping businesses know which products are popular. So they could actually kind of have a very real-time view of what people are buying, when they're buying it, where they're buying it, how much of each item the store has or might need to have delivered tomorrow. They'll track all of this. When you track something in this way, you're also, we could say it in a longer way, you're keeping track of what people buy. You're looking at it, you're noticing it, you're paying attention to it, and you're possibly writing it down. If you have big plans for the weekend that involve an outdoor activity like a big outdoor wedding, you might be tracking the weather for a few days before the wedding, right? To see, oh, is it going to start to get cloudy on Friday? Does that mean there's going to be rain on Saturday? I'm paying attention to this stuff. I'm tracking it because it will change over time, and I kind of need to know how it's changing, if it's getting better, if it's getting worse, that kind of thing. If you're traveling on an airplane, you might track where you are in your journey by looking at a clock or looking at one of those maps. And you kind of see, oh, look, we've been flying for 4 hours. That means we'll be home in 3 hours. And right now we are somewhere over Vietnam or something like that. You're paying attention to it. You're following it. And you're noticing how it changes over time. For example, Frida tracked the growth of her little tomato plant. She planted it as a seed just a few months ago, but already now it is starting to look like a proper plant, and she's noticed how it's changed over the days and weeks and months.
那除了在买东西的时候节省时间和方便结账之外 RFID 还可以追踪顾客都买了什么。那这样一来，企业或者是公司也可以进而了解哪一些产品是比较热销或者是受欢迎的。Track 这个动词指的是追踪或者是密切的关注某一件事情的进展。So for example, if you have a Garmin sports watch or an Apple Watch, they can track your heart rate or how much you've walked during the day. So you can keep track of your health.
What's more, back to the article, what's more, it tracks the location of items, allowing stores to keep an eye on stock without counting each product by hand. It makes sure stores can quickly add more popular items to shelves. So that's very convenient. It tracks, again, it's following and noticing the location where the items are, and that allows stores to keep an eye on stock without counting each product by hand. Of course, it would help stores to avoid having things stolen, but also it can help stores to, find out where products are. Maybe if they run out of a certain thing, they don't have to look so carefully in the warehouse or in a stock room. They can just go, exactly where is that other bottle of shampoo? Because we've sold the last one on the shelves. We need to find another one. So it keeps track of stock or the things that the store has to sell. And it also makes sure the stores can quickly add more popular items. That way they can maybe order more from a bigger store if they're running out at a smaller store, because they know exactly how many they have and how many they might probably sell in the next few days. So it can make all of this stuff much more efficient, much easier, and take the guesswork out of managing a store. Yeah, the location of something is where something or someone is to be found, right? You can call someone if you say, where are you? And they say, oh, I'm at the movie theater. That's their location. If I'm asking you, where are you going on holiday next year? And you say, oh, I'm going to Turkey. That's the location of your holiday. If you use a GPS to find out where anything is, where your home is, from where you are or where a restaurant you're going to is, you're looking at the location of that thing. For example, do you know the location of Jim and Tammy's wedding? Where, in other words, will the wedding be held?
那它同时也可以追踪这些物品的位置，也就是说在清点商品的时候就不用手动一个一个去数，那只要透过 RFID 就可以知道有多少东西在哪里。Location 这个名词指的是地点或者是位置 a place or a position. So your location is where you are. So people often ask you like, where are you? Drop me a pin. Tell me where you are. Or give me your location. 那 keep an eye on something 指的是注意或者是留意某一件事情。So you pay attention to something or you pay attention to somebody. 那 stock 在这边指的是商店的存货或者是库存这个名词，所以 often say out of stock 就是这个东西已经没有了 available. In stock 指的就是还有 available.
All right, we have a chat question before we say goodbye for today. How do you think RFID will change shopping in the future?
I mean, more convenience for people, right? But also probably a lot of people will lose their jobs.
That is true. It does kind of sound like the cashier's job at checkout. That might not be necessary. And possibly fewer clerks in the store, right? Because they'll know exactly where things are and it will take less time to fill the shelves and stuff. But I guess they'll have to find ways also to get these things in the machines, I worry that products will become more expensive because if each product comes with its own microchip, right, it's going to cost more to make them. But I guess those costs will go down in the future. But yeah, it's an interesting question. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait till RFID technology becomes very common, and it's something that we find at our local stores all the time. Right now, we're not quite there, but who knows? It's probably coming in the future. Thanks for joining us, guys. We're going to have more on this interesting topic tomorrow, so please come back and join us for that.
那听完今天的节目还学得不够尽兴吗？欢迎到空中家教和老师练习哦。
Vocabulary Review.
Imagine. I can't imagine what it's like to have to sleep on the streets. It must be so hard. Chip. That tiny chip inside the robot helps it move, see, and even speak simple words. Visible. Don needs his glasses. Without them, only things near him are visible to him. Data. Data. Carrie's job is entering data that's written on paper into a computer program. Track. The teacher helps students track their reading progress with charts on the classroom wall. Nora tracked the bus with an app, so she knew exactly when it would arrive. Location. Jane's new house is in a very nice location. It's on top of a big hill and has good views of the sea.
智慧小补帖
Radio Frequency Identification, RFID. Barcode. Scan. Checkout. Stock.